Hello, grade 5. Today we are going to talk about our grammar for Unit 2. Actually, we are going to talk about 4 tenses we have taken last years. The first one is present simple. The second one is present continuous. And number 3 is past simple. Number 4 is past continuous. So now let's start talking about the first one, present simple. So here, present simple. We use the present simple to talk about number 1, repeated actions and habits. Repeated actions and habits. If you want to talk about repeated actions, you do them many times. Like an action, you do it every day, every Friday. So here you use the present simple. What is the meaning of you use the present simple? You put the verb in the present simple form. For example here, she practices yoga every day. What is the tense of the sentence? If you want to know the tense of the sentence, look at the verb of the sentence. So here, the verb practices is a main verb plus s, so it's a present simple. And here, to talk about facts. Number 2, if you want to talk about fact, you make the verb present simple. What is the meaning of fact? Fact is something that is true. Everything that is really true in our life, it's a fact. For example, the sun rises every day morning. So rises here is the present simple verb, because here I'm talking about a fact. Everything you talk about in science is a fact, so the verb of every sentence is present simple. For example here, the sun rises from the east every day. After that, in the affirmative form, in fact, the verb of the sentence in the present simple is verb to be or main verb. I can't say he is playing. No, that's not right. Because the verb of the present simple is verb to be or main verb, I can't put them beside each other in one sentence. I can't do that. So here, the verb to be, for example, am is or. He is kind. Is here present simple verb to be. It's a fact. So it's a fact about the subject he. So here he is kind. It's a fact about him. So the verb is present simple. Here they are good players. Also it's a fact about the subject they, that they are good players. Here the main verb, she visits her friend every Friday. Is it a fact or habit? Yes, it's a habit. What is the meaning of habit? Something that you love to do. It's called habit. For the second example, they usually walk to school. Also, it's a habit. After that, in the negative form, if the verb is verb to be, I make it negative using not. She is not kind. It's also a fact about her that she is not kind. Here, they don't walk to school. It's a habit, but in negative form. This means they don't love doing this habit. For the second example, she doesn't visit her friend every day. This means she doesn't do the habit every day. After that, in the question form. Here, if the verb is verb to be, the helping verb in the question is verb to be also. Like, he is kind. If I want to form a question about this sentence, I start with the helping verb is, subject he, object kind, and the question mark. If the verb is main verb, for example here, does she visit her friend every Friday? For this sentence, she visits her friend every Friday. If you want to form a question here, you're going to start with does. After does, subject she. Why I start with does here? Because I'm asking about this sentence. If you want to know why we choose does here in the question, look at the verb. Yes, it's a main verb plus s. So the helping verb in the question does. And after does, subject she, main verb infinitive visit, and after that the object her friend every Friday. Put your attention, pay attention that when does is beside a main verb, this main verb is infinitive. So here the second one, what do you do every day? Here I'm asking you about a habit you do every day. After that, adverbs of frequency. In fact, I use these words beside the verb of the present simple. Why? Because it's a repeated verb. And I use these words to show you the degree of the repetition of the verb. For example here, always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, and rarely. Rarely means also hardly ever, means one day a week or one day a month or one day a year. And after that, never, this means I don't do this habit. So here, for example, he is always happy. The sentence is present simple. I used always here to show the degree of the repetition of the action. So the degree of the repetition of the action is always. So here, what is the place of always? It's after the verb to be. For the second example, they are never late. What is the place of never? After the verb to be or. To show that the repetition of this action is zero. Doesn't happen. So here, for the main verb. If you look at this sentence, you will find the adverb of frequency is before the main verb. So it comes after the verb to be and before the main verb. For example here, he always plays football. Always here shows me and you the repetition of plays, the degree of the repetition of the habit, the verb present simple plays is always. The second one, we sometimes visit our uncle. This means we do the verb for 3 or 4 times a week or a month or a year. This means sometime. The second tense. The second tense we're gonna talk about is the past simple. When I use the past simple, I use the past simple to talk about an action finished in the past and the time is mentioned. For example here, I played in the street yesterday. Here, what is the verb of the sentence played? Played is a main verb, past simple. And the time is mentioned here. Can you see the time? Yes, so it's mentioned in the sentence. So it's yesterday. For the second example, they visited their uncle last Friday. Also, visited is a main verb past simple. And the time is mentioned here. So it's last Friday. For example, for other examples here, verb to be, main verb. Like the present simple. The past simple verb is verb to be or main verb. I can't put them in one sentence. So for example here, he was late yesterday. What is the tense of the sentence? Yes, it's a verb to be past simple and the time is mentioned here. For the second one, she visited her friend last week. What is the tense of the sentence? It's main verb past simple and the time is mentioned last week. It's for the affirmative form. For the negative form here, verb to be and also main verb. For the verb to be, I make a negative using not, like he wasn't late yesterday. And for the main verb, I make it negative using didn't. If we have a main verb past simple and you want to make it negative, put before it didn't and make it infinitive. So here, she didn't visit her friend last week. For the question form, look at the sentence here. He was late yesterday. I want to form a question for this sentence. I will start with a helping verb. I can start before the helping verb. I can write what or when or where. But the most important is number 2. How to choose number 2, not number 1. Number 1 is what or where or when, for example. Number 2, was or did. How to choose the helping verb was or did. It's related to the sentence that you are gonna form a question about. He was late yesterday. What is the verb here? It's a verb to be. So, if it's a verb to be, it will be the helping verb of the question. Was, helping verb. He, subject, and after that, object. Last, late, yesterday. Here for this example, she visited her friend last week. I want to form a question about this sentence. The helping verb will be was? No, it will be did. Why? Because here I have a main verb past simple. If we have a main verb past simple, so the helping verb in the question did. After did, subject she. After subject she, main verb infinitive visit. And after that, object her friend last week. Pay attention. If the helping verb is do, does, did. Do, does, did. The main verb is infinitive. And here, when did she visit her friend? If I want to form a question by when about this sentence, I start with a WH question tool like when. Number 2 helping verb will be did because I have a main verb past simple. Number 3 subject. Number 4 infinitive verb. Number 5 object. And I will skip from the object the time. I won't write the time here because I usually want to ask about the time. So don't write the time in the question of when. So, what is the main formation of the question? WH question tool. Helping verb, subject, verb, object. SVO. Subject, verb, object. WH question tool. Helping verb, SVO. Subject, verb, object. It's the first form. The second form of the question, helping verb, subject, verb, object. Helping verb, SVO. The mentioned time in the past simple will be yesterday or ago, in the past, last and after last, last week, last month, last year. This is the mentioned time. Present continuous. I put the verb in the present continuous form to talk about actions that are happening now. So here, for example, what is the shape of the verb in the present continuous? It's am is or plus main verb infinitive plus ing. So here, he is eating now. Look at this here. The verb is not is and is not eating. It is eating. So verb to be is, main verb infinitive, eat plus ing. And here we aren't going to the cinema. This means we aren't doing the action now. In the affirmative form, they are studying English. If the verb to be here is affirmative, so the verb is affirmative. In the negative form, I make the verb to be here negative, like am not, is not, are not, plus main verb plus ing. For example here, they aren't studying English. This means they aren't doing the action now. For another example, in the question form, are they studying English? In the present continuous, the helping verb is not do, does, did. It's verb to be am, is, are. So, helping verb am, is, are, subject, they, verb, studying, object, English. Helping verb are s, they, we, studying, o, English. Here, keywords. The time that if I can find it in the sentence, I know that it's a present continuous, like now, so the verb is present continuous. At the moment means also now, so the verb is present continuous. Look, if I tell you look at something, so the action is happening now, so the verb is present continuous. Listen, if I tell you listen, so we listen to an action is happening now. Here, hurry up, so we should hurry up. because we may miss an action that's happening now. And here, right now means also now. For example, here, they aren't reading at the moment. At the moment means now, so the verb is present continuous. I am eating my lunch now. So the time is now, the verb is present continuous. Here, look, it's raining. So look here, so the verb is present continuous because we look at an action that's happening now. What is this action that's happening now? Is raining. Past continuous. It's the last tense that we're going to talk about today. So here we use the past continuous to talk about an action was happening in the past. Also like the past simple? No. We have a difference here. The difference is in the shape of the verb. The shape of the verb in past continuous is different from the shape of the verb in past simple. This is number one. Number two, the time in the past continuous is more clear, and you will find it now. So here, for example, I was traveling to Alex at 5 o'clock yesterday. Who can tell me what is the tense of the sentence? I told you before that if you want to know the tense, you look at the verb. So what is the verb here? It is not was only. It's not traveling only. It's was traveling. Was traveling is verb to be, was or were. Travel, main verb infinitive plus ing. So it's past continuous. I told you that the time in the past continuous is more clear than the past simple. Why? Because the time in the past simple is only yesterday, but the time in the past continuous is more clear at 5 o'clock. So here I mentioned the time that the action was happening, was continuing in at 5 o'clock yesterday. In the affirmative form, he was watching TV yesterday evening. So here, yesterday is not only the time. I also mentioned evening. Evening is the time that the action was continuing in yesterday. So the verb is not past simple, it will be past continuous. For another example, they were studying English last night at 6. So the time here is not only last night, it's more clear. It's last night at 6. At 6 is the time that the action was happening in last night. So the verb is not here past simple, it's past continuous. So here the affirmative form is was were plus main verb infinitive plus ing. For the negative form, for example here, Sarah wasn't playing yesterday. This means Sarah wasn't doing the action at 9 yesterday. The second example, the players weren't doing their training yesterday afternoon. This means the players weren't doing the action in the afternoon yesterday. For the question, the helping verb in the question past continuous is was or were plus subject plus main verb infinitive and ing, and after that object. So for example, what were the pupils doing yesterday night? Was the cat drinking the milk when you saw it? So here, what is WH question tool? Were helping verb, the pupils as subject, doing the verb yesterday night is all object.